It's
Okay,
live.
I got you. I got you. I messed up. Let's start over. Here we go.
Oh no.
Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and wow, we got an absolutely fantastic show coming your way today. And I tell you right now, I kind of see that we having a little camera adjustments that probably gonna have to be made. So, how you doing, Dr. Cooley? How you doing today?
I'm doing great, James. I'm doing fantastic. I see you at a very special event today called the 12th Annual Veteran and Small Business Trade Show. Am I correct?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is absolutely fantastic. I had an opportunity to go out and look at some of the vendors and see how things are being done. We call it how, how things are made. So like the cheese and all that great stuff. So it's the 12th annual Veterans Small Business Conference, and as you know, a good friend of ours, Big Al, I call him Big Al Renterio, is putting this on, and it's a fantastic so far. But I'm excited about the show today. We have.
I'm excited too, but I can't see you. Hello. Okay. Well, we're definitely excited about the show today, the 12th Annual Veteran and Small Business Trade Show. And we got an amazing, amazing lineup of, guests today. One of them is Karla Gonzalez, Matthew Fallesen, Dr. Douglas Fenner, and also Anthony Dwayne Williams. So while Dr. James Cooley, just gets the technical issues out the way, I'm kind of going to go over the bios of our amazing guests today. First of all, Karla Gonzalez. She's Assistant Director for the Inland Empire Small Business Development Center and Program Lead for the OCIE SBDC Center for Contracting. Prior to that, Karla provided business consulting services through the Inland Empire Minority Business Development Center, a federally funded program through the Minority Business Development Agency, U.S. Department of Commerce. She provides counseling and training services to business throughout Southern California. She counsels business owners on the managerial and technical aspects of expanding their businesses, as well as the importance of sound financial management. She has a successful track record in government procurement and job creation, and she has over 15 years experience in business management, government certifications, business administration, project management, budget accounting, customer service, event planning, strategic planning, and real estate. Let's talk about our next guest is Matthew Fallesen. He comes from a diverse background as a performer, educator, and entrepreneur. His passions are music, education, and financial strategy. He loves bringing the gift of music to an audience, teaching people how to become their best selves and helping people reach their financial goals. He's also the founder and CEO of Redy, a life skills education company with over 10 years of experience in the financial services industry and 20 years as an educator and professional singer. She has the knowledge and unique perspective to work with you on your life's journey and solve problems using creative, personalized strategies. Bottom line, he sees things differently than the average financial advisor and is in a position to help you build your wealth and realize your dreams. Our next guest is Dr. Douglas Fenner. He's a military veteran, retired chief information officer with the Department of Navy. He's a senior consultant with ClemTech LLC, where he provides contract mitigation and operational technology consulting services. He's also the founder of the Fenner Consulting Group, a veteran-owned company that delivers conflict management and facilitation, succession development planning, executive coaching, and workforce development training. As an ICF certified professional executive coach, his executive coaching includes emotional intelligence, social intelligence, diversity, equality, inclusion, accessibility, and belonging, and humanistic leadership. And then we have Anthony Dwayne Williams. He grew up in Burlington, North Carolina, where he attended Jordan Sellers High School, graduating in 1970. He currently lives in the city of Los Angeles. He is a former commander of NAB Vets, in which he served Greater Los Angeles area veterans, focusing on business development and the state and local contracting process. Recently, Anthony had fully committed his time to developing his company brand within the private sector of business development in Los Angeles. He still focuses on veterans, but has expanded his scope to subcontracting for small businesses and funding small businesses and startups. He recently teamed with Dr. Clement Johnson for business development in the greater Los Angeles area and global markets. In this capacity, he works directly with state and local departments, contractors, and officials to develop ClemTech's lines of business in the operational technology network and cybersecurity space. Please welcome all our guests to the show today.
Hey, I want to welcome each and every last one of these great guests to the show. As you see, got a little bit of technical difficulty, but that's okay. I want to start out with you, Karla. Can you please tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit about you, a little bit about the organization, and tell them a little bit about this absolutely fantastic event?
Yes, no problem. Thank you for having me. So as mentioned, I am part of the Orange County Inland Empire SBDC network. For those that are not familiar, the SBDC is a federally funded program and also funded by the state of California. And some of us are also funded by our cities and our counties. So all of our assistance is at no cost to you. I repeat, we are at no cost to you. So whether you're looking to start a business, grow your business, maintain the business, maybe even exit out of your business, we have out of our network about 100 consultants that are here to assist you in various different areas. We can cover business planning, marketing, loans, contracting, you name it. We try to place you with the correct consultant. And once again, all at no cost to you. Also to our offices, we have a center for contracting. And that's the center that I lead. And we help our clients, whether they want to get certified, start contracting, identifying their markets, anything having to do with the contracting with the government at the federal, state, or local level, we help them with that process at no cost. And today we've had the honor to be at this event, great speakers, great panel discussions from actual business owners that are sharing their experiences, not just the successes, but some of the struggles that they face. So that has been a really good highlight of this event.
Wow. There's so many great things, and we're going to get a chance to know this whole panel right here. Matt, can you tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit about you?
Yeah, I'm Matt Fallesen, founder and CEO of Redy U and Wealth Redy. They're sister companies, and Redy U is focused on helping the next generation succeed in life and business. We teach on 4 main areas. We teach on career planning, money and personal finance. We teach on relationship building in life and business, and also just personal growth and development. So that's helping the next generation get up to speed on what they really need and bringing the edge to education, filling in gaps that the traditional school system may not be addressing or has the resources to address. Then on the wealth management side, we focus on working with business owners and families, saving on taxes, doing financial planning, investments, risk mitigation, asset protection, and insurance to make sure that their businesses can grow. And that we mentioned exiting the business. We focus a lot on exit planning so they can pass on their business to family or sell it to a third party. I'm also a classical singer on the side, and I teach music. That's really another passion of mine, but that's more of like a paid hobby, I guess you could say. And that's a little bit about me.
Wow. What about you, Mr. Williams? Long time no see. How you doing, sir?
I'm fine. Thank you very much. Dr. Clem sent my bio in. He sort of left out a few things. 22-year Navy veteran, graduated in 1973. And in my time in the Navy, I retired as a senior chief petty officer in recruiting, career recruiting. And it set the stage for me to eventually matriculate into business development and developing a strategic approach to assisting primarily small businesses and medium-sized businesses into scaling and being sustainable. That comes with market analysis, that comes with feasibility, that comes in finding the different entry points. So a lot of the services that I provide as a business coach are geared towards customizing not a one-size-fit-all, but an approach for your business, for your industry, and for your particular market. And I think also Dr. Clem forgot to provide information that for 6.5 years, I was a member of the Small Business Commission on the County of Los Angeles. And my organization, the National Association for Black Veterans, NAVETS, there are 34 chapters around the country. And I'm still the commander for the National Association of Black Veterans, Greater Los Angeles chapter. Thank you.
Dr. Fenner, how are you doing, sir?
Sir, I am doing great. You know, I want to thank you and your wife, both doctors, for bringing us on and so forth, and we get to share our voices and so forth. Again, my name is Dr. Douglas Fenner. I am a Navy veteran, retired Chief Information Officer with the Naval Facilities Engineering Command, where I was accountable for both operational technology, would deal with smart buildings and so forth, and the business side, what I call the business side, the IT side of the network. I retired from there. At the same time, I still had the Fenner Consulting business going on since 2008, where I do consultant work with agencies, and both public and private, on how to develop succession development plans. Also, we do a lot of executive coaching. Some of my clients been in Washington, D.C., at the White House. I had a couple of clients there. I do banking executives, senior military officers, and junior military officers as required. And we also deal with workforce development and leadership development. And I also do key things for the Navy still today. When they want leadership training, I work with them. I build the curriculum to suit their needs, right? So they can better understand it. And we work hand in hand to build that curriculum, and I lecture on that curriculum. I also teach at Paloma National University, as Dr. Cooley said earlier, where I teach information technology, cybersecurity, project management courses, and information systems at the university. I was a former professor at San Diego State, where I taught performance management, HR, employment law. In fact, I implemented their first performance management program for the university, and they still use that today in their business school for students who are going for their undergrad to take that performance management course. So I started the Fenner Consulting Group. So it's been very successful for me, and I get a chance to control my time now. Me time, right?
That's what it's all
very
about.
important. and learn to enjoy life, because we only get to live it once.
You're absolutely right. We only get a chance to live life once. And I tell you, wherever you're watching this at, whether you're watching on E360 television, YouTube, LinkedIn, 55 other live streaming podcast networks, you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is just go to the comments and you can ask this panel or myself any question that you might have. And I promise you, we'll get you an answer. We're going to take a station break, but it's your life. And we'll be back shortly after the break.
We are not a charity. We are veterans. We are warriors, brothers, and sisters. We don't need, we deliver. OpsForVets.com. Handshakes, not handouts.
I'm Albert Rencheria, Marine Chief Warrant Officer 4 retired, Ops for Vets CEO. I invite you to take a look at our organization. You'll quickly understand why out of thousands of groups currently serving our veterans, we have become the most rapidly growing and opportunity-rich team in the market. We have deployed dynamic distributors who are responsible for servicing and growing their regions, East, Central, and West. We provide a complete roster of high-caliber services, produced to create the results you require. Find us on the web at www.opsforvets.com. Handshakes, not handouts.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. And I tell you, now we're getting ready to dab off into a lot of these things, and especially about what this conference is about. And I tell you what, won't you sit back, grab you a couple of bags of popcorn, because you're getting ready to learn. You know, I tell you, and anytime that you're doing anything, especially when you're in the military, you transition from the military to civilians, we are always nervous. At least I was. I don't know about Dr. Fenner, but you always you're always nervous thinking about the transition and what you're going to do. When I was getting out, I don't think we had organizations in detail like we have now, especially at this great event right here. And not only do they make it easier for you, but they give you options, opportunities, and choices on how you to proceed and certain career fields that you might want to be part of. And so we're going to talk about a lot of this with these four great guests today. We're going to start off with Karla. We're going to start off with Karla first. Hey, Karla, so can you tell our viewers and our listeners and active duty or veterans that are kind of on the opposite side, not knowing what it was to go, what type of programs that you all have and what type of certification they can get from these and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
All the good stuff.
Yes.
So as I mentioned earlier, the SBDCs are a resource partner of the SBA, and we're funded by the SBA, State of California, cities, counties. So all of our services, and I'll say it again, are at no cost. And we help businesses in different areas. So if you're looking to start a business and you don't know how to even begin, whether it's what kind of business structure, what kind of permits you need, the business plan part of it, we walk you through that entire process. If you are already established and you're having a hard time just growing or you're feeling like you're stuck, you can meet with our marketing consultants. And I don't know a thing about AI or ChatGPT, but that's the newest thing out there. And we have a marketing center that can help you with that. And they will walk you through that whole process. Same thing if you're looking for capital. Maybe you don't know how much you need, or you need money to start, or you need money to buy equipment or to make payroll. We help you with that at no cost. And I keep saying at no cost because people always assume they're going to get some sort of a bill later from us. Nope, we don't. We just need to report your successes. We are here to assist you. We're not commission based. We don't get broker fees. We're truly here to see you succeed and to help you maneuver through that process. Now, SBDCs are a nationwide program. I know this is telecast all over. So there's probably going to be an SBDC somewhere near you. There are about 1,000 locations spread out throughout the entire U.S. Mine happens to be under Cal State San Bernardino and also under Orem, Cal State Fullerton through our network. But there's going to be an SBDC somewhere near you. Aside from the SBDCs, seek out your other resource partners that are out there. You have women's centers, you have SCORES, you have the Veteran Business Opportunity Centers. There's a lot of different centers that are there to assist you through our federal agencies. And then you touch on certifications. So my core area at the office is running the Center for Contracting. So if you're looking to grow your business, whether it's looking at the opportunities at the federal level, at the state level, at the utility level, private Fortune 1000 companies, there are certifications a business can apply for to make them more competitive. Think of it as a tool in your tool belt when you're going out there to compete. Now, unfortunately, there's not one universal one. Everybody will come to me and say, hey, I need to get, for example, woman-owned certified. Great, well, which one? Because there's 3 different kinds. So we need to make sure you properly identify who you want to do business with and what do they take so that we can make you more competitive, whether it's, the federal 8A, the federal veteran-owned small business, or the serviceable veteran-owned small business, or the state of California table veteran business enterprise. It's a whole world of acronyms, and it can get really confusing really quick. So we try to kind of just break it all down for you to see how are you owned and what you would qualify for. And then the big question that I always ask is the who cares? Who do you want to do business with and what do they care about? So that we make sure you get the correct ones. Here in our state of California, it's race and gender neutral. So when you come to me say, I need to get woman certified for state of California, I'm going to take you back and say, no, we can do small business or disabled veteran business enterprise. So it's really the education part of it, but also preparing you, because sometimes winning your bid can be the best thing or it can be the worst thing if you're not prepared. So we want to make sure it's the best thing for you at that time.
Wow. That's a lot the organization is doing. So Mr. Williams, how did you come in contact with this great organization? I know you're through Dr. Clem. Dr. Clem introduced you to a couple of things, but what is your affiliation with this great conference that's going on here? And do you still serve veterans, or what do your organization do?
Well, I'm sort of an independent contractor when it comes to business consulting, but my organization, NAVETS, we provide the usual buffet of services, such as housing, access to grants and loans, access to personnel that are schooled in increasing your disability ratings. But I personally focus on business startups, and those veteran-owned small businesses are in which the owners are struggling or stagnant and are at a point where they don't know which way to go to continue to grow their businesses. To piggyback what was said earlier, there are a ton of certifications out there. In fact, I have a background in contracting. I was a contractor for naval system engineering for 5 years and a senior project manager, in which I wrote contracts. I decided which kind of award systems on which contracts were going to be awarded to individual businesses. So it helped me develop a great fundamental knowledge of contracting. So what you want to do is marry that knowledge of how contracts are structured with the additional knowledge of what type of opportunities should these small businesses be looking for. Doctor, I'm pretty sure you heard that old cliche of all money ain't good money. And helping some of our small businesses who want to pursue opportunities that are beyond their scope or capacity. That is a big challenge with anybody in the consulting or training business with of our SBE, small business enterprises. One of the things that I love is trade shows. Trade shows, and when I was the small business commissioner here in Los Angeles County, I actually was able to convince the County Department of Public Works and Internal Service Department to put on a couple of trade shows for end users. A lot of time, government entities have outreach. These outreach efforts end up with accumulation of data, but the recipients of these outreach, those business owners who take time away from their businesses to attend them, there's very little benefit because there is no connection. But when they get a chance to show their goods, commodities, products, and services to the end users, now you're making a connection. And a lot of times our government, local, state, and federal, choose to do business with the usual suspects. So to penetrate that market takes a very specific and detailed strategy that's designed for your business, for that industry at this particular time. So trade shows are a very positive in the small business community, as well as our tech and entrepreneurs who are trying to get the funding that they need.
Wow. So you're absolutely right. It's a tough business out there, especially when you creating one and then not knowing the ropes, and you have to learn the ropes and talk to professionals like you all. So you spoke of money, financial. So that means that it have to be some type of financial literacy, a way or being able to go out and actually teach yourself, teach others, and understand the philosophy of raising money, turning money into more money. And that's where you come in at, Matt. Can you tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit about how they can do that?
Yeah, so first of all, we're really passionate, starting with Redy, teaching the next generation how to succeed in life and business. And we do that primarily through our Money Matters course. So that's teaching people that are in transition or starting out how they can develop the financial skills and discipline necessary to maybe start a business one day. So we start there with the up and coming entrepreneurs of the world. Then once you have a business and you're in the startup phase or beyond, there's so many different considerations, and it's so important to have advisors on your team that you can count on, like myself as a wealth advisor, a tax person, an attorney, a business banker, many of the people that are at this trade show today, because you can't do it alone. If you're in a business and you want to scale that business, you can't do it by yourself. And that's the most important thing I want to impress upon the audience today. Become a knowledge worker in today's society by getting knowledge from other people. You don't have to learn it all yourself. I mean, that's the quickest path from A to Z, is surrounding yourself, just like Henry Ford did, with people who are smarter than him. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're probably in the wrong room.
Wow. You got that right. If you surround yourself with, people that you know that you're the smarter than they are, you believe and they believe that you are, it's almost impossible to grow. It's almost impossible to gather the necessary knowledge and the skill sets and abilities that you need. You know what? We got to take a station break. But when we come back, I ain't forgot about my main man, Dr. Fenner. When we come back, we're going to pick it up with that, because, Doc, I believe that there is a certain mindset people have to have in order to be successful at anything. And I want to talk about those when we get back. So if you want to be part of this great conversation, whichever platform that you're watching it on, all you have to do is just go to the comments, ask either one of these great panels members any question that you might have, and I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break. Hello, I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be on it, to be in the Coffee Book 2023, Unified Brain Z and the other organizations. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection. Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, I'm sitting here learning so much from these total professionals that, at the trade show, they're here displaying their knowledge and talking back and forth and working together with other vendors so that it's all about exchanging knowledge. And just like I always tell you in my speeches, and you always have to have what I call the buff vision, being able to see past the tip of your nose, understanding, being able to kind of step back and soak it in and just figure out what needs to be done. Once you figure out the vision and understanding, you have to focus on one building block at a time. Just like everybody on there, you can't eat the whole elephant in one bite. You can't build a building with one block. You have to figure out what it's going to require on how you do those things. And that's why I believe knowledge is power. Being able to share and being able to understand. So I tell you, wherever you're watching this at, if you want to be part of the conversation, I see a lot of you all are watching. All you have to do is go to the platform that you're watching it on and ask any questions that you might have. And I promise you we'll get you an answer. I'm going to start.
Yes, sure.
Now, toward the end of that, we were talking about knowledge, understanding, having the abilities to be able to do certain things, because if you lack understanding, you know how to do it, you're not going to get it done.
That's right.
Can you define this humanistic leadership, and why is humanistic leadership so important?
Yeah, when I started writing this book about 4 years ago, I was researching the title. There was articles and research done on the words humanistic leadership, but there wasn't a book written on it. So then I came to find out someone beat me to the punch. I wrote a book on humanistic leadership, but the way she defined it is somewhat different than the way I defined it. And what I didn't want to talk about in humanistic leadership was talk about technology or money. I've been in technology for 40 some years as an engineer, designing systems and so forth. So I didn't want to talk about that. I want to talk about the human side of leadership. I wanted to know what was the root cause or root solution to what it means to become an extraordinary leader. Because the way I see it, without humans, there's no leadership, right? We have no one following us. There are no leaders if we don't have humans. If you notice, I don't use the word people or person, right? I use the word human. And the reason why I use the word human is that we all have an understanding of who we are as humans first. Then we can put the accolades, words, people, persons, and so forth to it, or employees. So that's why it's very important for humanistic leadership. When we talk about a lot of the executive leaders out there, a lot of them are focused on the bottom line. How do you make money or making that profit and so forth? The first thing they should be talking about or thinking about are the humans who works for them to help them succeed. So I constantly speak of when I talk to executives or interview executives, and there's a couple out there, and I ask them, I say, what is your number one job in this organization? Very rare do you see them said, to make sure I have a successor for me. Right? There's a couple of them that did come up with that. But what our leaders got to understand now, the reason I'm writing this book, should be published here by March of next year, is that first, diverse humans, right? Make sure you have a diverse human workforce. Second is money, and promotion is third. That's what a lot of the folks are focusing on today, especially the young generation, millennials, Gen Zs, and so forth that's coming into the workforce. So you really need to focus on seeing them as a human being, not as a commodity or an asset in your organization.
So Doc, what are some of the required cognitive skills?
Well,
you have to ask that question. It requires cognitive skills.
Actually, there's 8 cognitive skills I'll talk about in my upcoming book, but I will only talk about 4 here, maybe 5 or 6.
Okay.
Right? The first skill that leaders really need to have is personal intelligence. Because if you don't have personal intelligence of who you are, and that personal intelligence ties into interpersonal intelligence and intrapersonal intelligence. How you see yourself first is very important. Because if you don't see yourself as a human being first and how you get along with others, guess what? It's going to be very difficult for you. So then you look into how you see others around you, the humans who report up to you and so forth. That's very important. I use this philosophy when I lecture in classes or so forth, or do training sessions. I develop a quadrant, and that quadrant got 4 areas, right? The first quadrant, it has a box inside of it. And in that box, every morning, that leader comes in, and some of you might experience this. He or she comes in their office, close the door, they don't come back out until either lunchtime or knock-off time. Then, second quadrant, you have a leader who stays within that box and goes to everybody's office and talk to everyone, stay connected within the organization right there. And there's a leader who thinks outside the box, but stays connected to the 4 corners of the box. And guess what their fourth quadrant is? There is no box, right? So that's where we've got to get to that point where we think that there is no limitations on us, how we develop and grow ourselves as humans. So that's what I focus on. How do we get them to that transition of the 4th quadrant?
And you're absolutely right. I don't know if you know, I'm a leadership guy myself. Yeah, I'll talk. I got but you know, one of the things that I think that is so important in business, so important in personal life, so important in anything. Sometimes we as leaders have to be able to have an open door where people can come in and be able to share whatever that is with them. And a lot of times I call it, sometimes you might have a worker or employee that's frustrated, and the only thing he or her wants to do is just come in and just tell you about it. They ain't asked you to do anything. Just talk, tell you about it. You know, I call that portion, you know, the chaplain. I call my theory the CCC, the chaplain. The only thing they want you to do is listen.
That's right.
And you know, they ain't asked you to give them no answer. Then they get up and walk out.
That's right.
Sometimes you have someone to come in frustrated. And then in the business that you're trying to be on, you have to be able to, you know, work with them. You know, so they come in and they tell you they're frustrated, can't do it. You as leaders might see the problem immediately, but you want to help them along, help them discover that. I call
Coach
them.
them.
Coach them.
That's right.
And then sometimes you might have our employees or whatever to come in screaming and hollering and this and that and completely out of line. That's where you have to call the balls and the strikes.
Yeah, and you're right. And you talk about some of those cognitive skills, right? Here's another one: emotional intelligence, social intelligence, right? And then we look at, here's a key one: common sense intelligence. We tend to forget that one. My capstone is spiritual intelligence, because in the workforce today, the dynamics of the spirituality in the workforce. But one of the things you asked me, how do I define it? And I came up with this definition after doing all the research for the last few years: a transformative leader who's fosters a holistic approach towards learning, tolerating, understanding, and accepting his or her total self and others' uniqueness, disparities, differences, and commonalities. That's how I define humanistic leadership.
You know, but all portion of especially the cognitive skills is so important. And our viewers and listeners, why are you talking about leadership? Anything you do is going to require that. And creating a business, transitioning from one job to another, transitioning from the service to being a veteran or whatever that is, it requires a holistic approach. At least that's what I think. You have to be able to deal with all of them. And that's why being a part of these type of conferences is so important for people that are out there that's trying to figure out where they are going. You know, so Mr. Wynn, what are your thoughts on that? We got about 2-3 minutes before the break.
Well, the good fortune of having served in the military for 22 years, it teaches you a lot of leadership lessons. As we get older, and there is some truth to that cliche of getting wiser, when you have that epiphany of what drives and motivates people, that negative leadership or negative supervision is not, in the long term, the best way to get the most productive and goal oriented performances out of the people that you're tasked with leading, then the more you invest into the type of selfless leadership. The good doctor said something about cognitive reasoning and emotional intelligence. And those are two things that you can genuinely impact with the people that you're tasked with leading. Particularly in the 21st century, I think the science of leadership should have a more perspective approach. And that's what I think, Doctor, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think you're trying to get to that point of having leaders consider the whole ecosystem.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I learned some I learned some hard lessons in the military about leadership where I had to look in the mirror and said, this is on you, Senior Chief. This is not on your people.
You're right about that. Been there, done that.
Wow. So I tell you, this is so good. 1 hour don't do us any good. We need about 3 hours to have this one. And I tell you what, some of these folks gonna be back on the show again real soon. But we ain't done. We just got to take a station break. We got to pay the bills. So if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is go to the comments on whichever platform you're watching this on, and I promise you, we'll get you an answer. Yes. Your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
Courage, valor, experience. The values that make veterans are the values that make veteran businesses America's #1 choice. Veteran business owners throughout the nation are ready to connect. OpsForVets.com. Handshakes, not handouts. Ops for Vets connects veterans with business opportunities. Here is a closer look at a featured veteran business. Every business listed is a verified veteran-owned business and can be found in the OpsForVets.com supplier directory. OpsForVets.com. Get on the grid.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. And, you know, that last segment was absolutely extraordinary because we talked about, I believe, something that's so important to being successful in anything you do. And didn't want to bring it up, but I had to, the cognitive side. If you don't know, you don't know. If you don't want to know, that means you don't know, and you don't want to know, and you know. Yeah. We need all these things. We need knowledge. We need to sometimes sit back and just listen to others that you believe in, that you trust, that you surround yourself with. Don't surround yourself with just anybody and believe everything they say. Go wherever they're going, you go on there too. You know, so Matt brought that up a few minutes ago, and Matt, I want to pick it up with that. You know, so let's talk about that. You mentioned surrounding yourself with people. You know.
Yeah, I think having a mentor or various mentors in life is so crucial. You know, you look at your life and you look at your 5 closest friends, and they equal each other. I mean, we know that. So having a mentor that can do what your organization actually says on the shirt. Dream big, think big, be big. If you're with a small-minded mentor, you're probably not going to go as far as you could go. So that's why I started Redy U. I want to teach the next generation how to associate themselves with the right people. And I love also, Doc over here talked about spiritual intelligence. That's something that we sprinkle into this class, Life by Design. We talk about that in a way that's not in your face. You know, we're not slamming people over the head with the Bible, but there's a flavor of spirituality. And if you don't have that, if you don't know who you are, you may not know who you want to surround yourself with. So we start with that, and then we go into relationship currency. And that's what we're talking about, really, if you think about it. Relationship currency, having relationships in life and business that can help you get to the next level. Dreaming big, thinking big, being big. I love that shirt. I got to get me one of those.
Wow, man, they for sale today.
Yeah. Let's talk.
I want to get back to you, Karla. You know, so in anything that you're doing and learning and certification, et cetera, what piece of advice can you give our listeners or viewers out there that are not sure about which direction?
Ask questions is big, but seek out the help. As I mentioned.
So Karla, I want to get back to you. Yeah. So, what piece of advice can you give our listeners and our viewers that might not understand what it is?
So, meeting with our consultants, obviously, they will break it down for you. They will hear you out, hear your ideas out, help you get your thoughts in order to see where is that you want to be, not just in 6 months, but a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. As small entrepreneurs, we are legacy builders. So we want to make sure that we start something with a great foundation that we can leave to our children and so forth. So meeting with consultants in the offices to hear you out, really plan accordingly, but also understand that you're going to have some pitfalls. You're gonna not fail, and it's not a no, but it's, you know, the chance for a new opportunity. So never take that no as a dead end. In terms of contracting, we tell all of our clients as well, you may not get the first 2, 3, or 4 contracts, and that's okay. We learned from that. And then from there, you're going to bid better, lay out your proposal better, and then hopefully secure that contract. And that same token is, if you don't win, ask the why. You know, what was wrong with my proposal? Get a debriefing on it. People don't know that you can do that. It's okay to ask questions, because that's the only way you're going to grow. And attending a lot of the different webinars and in-person and events like this. I tell my students, because I teach at the university, you're only as strong as your network. So you want to make sure you really have a good network and you surround yourself with good people at the mentor level to really guide you, but also surround yourself with family that's going to support you, because it's not just your journey, it's a journey with your family. And I think that's the biggest advice I can give an entrepreneur is you're not going at this by yourself. You got to get the buy-in from your family and then get yourself some good mentors to guide you.
Wow, we're down to about the last 3.5 minutes of the show. How could somebody want to get in touch with you? This is for each one of you, by the way. How could they get in touch with you?
The best way for me is just call the office. with that 1-800 number. I believe you'll be given that, or email me directly. I do respond to emails in about 24 hours or less. So I do respond, and I can direct you. If you need assistance, don't even know what to ask me, shoot me an email and I will point you in the right direction.
What about you, Anthony? How could people reach out to you and get in touch with you if you want to seek more knowledge and advice from you?
Well, my email address, as well as I'm sort of old school, docs. I like to get calls and let people talk about what their problems are. And Karla, I agree 100%. They have to ask questions, and then we have to, as consultants and guides, ask the type of questions that will steer them in the right direction. And a lot of capital is lost by not approaching it with a definitive strategy that's going to produce and generate, let's be honest, revenue at the end of the day. You know,
It does. How could they get in touch with you, Anthony?
I thought, okay. My email address is, I should post it. I think
you can post it.
Okay, I'll post my email address and contact information. Sorry about that, but I just wanted to give Karla a bouquet on a lot of the things she said about the outreach piece from our future entrepreneurs and small business owners.
Oh, absolutely. What about you, Dr. Phil? How can they reach out to you, man? You're doing so many things, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a number of email address, but the main one you reach me at is Fenner, Fenner, CG, Charlie Girl, at iCloud.com. And my number is 858-207-7948. Again, Fenner, Fenner, CG, at iCloud.com, 858-207-7948.
How could they get in touch with you, my good friend, Matt?
So I would say the best way, just go to my website, wealthredy.com, and that's Redy without an A. So wealth, REDY.com. That stands for Relevant Education Designed for You, because we're all about education here. So my cell phone is my business number. That's on the website. Also, you can go to Redy, REDY.university to get more information about our curriculum and our life skills education program there.
Wow. This has been such a spectacular show. We got to do this again. Come on now.
Let's do it.
Let us know.
We got to do this again. You know, I'll tell you, we're out of time. But as you heard, bits and pieces. Just like I said, it's probably going to take 3 hours to really get everything in there. But you get the point of it. You know, so reach out for help. Get in touch with these great folks here. Get in touch with me. I'll tell you, I guide you to the right person. You know, so I want to thank each and every last one of you for taking the time to come on the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life. You know, I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another fantastic show. I'd like to thank, most importantly, our viewers and our listeners for taking the time to tune in to the It's Your Life James Cooley Show, Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I leave you with one message. Always, always dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's Your Life. We'll see you there.